Hi everyone. In this section, we will add a correlation ID to our services and apply distributed tracing. And then we will implement log aggregation by using Logstash, Elasticsearch, and Kibana. Let's first add Logstash encoder to the main POM.xml file with the version 6.5, and also add this to the dependencies section in the main POM.xml file. This is the only dependency we need to add for this section, so I will include this in the dependencies section of the main POM.xml file, so that it will be inherited by the child POM.xml files automatically. Then we will change the logbake common.xml file and include a new appender for Logstash. This will simply encode the logs to a format that Logstash can understand, so that Logstash will fetch these logs and send to Elasticsearch to be shown on Kibana. So here we use Logstash encoder in the appender and create a new file in devhome/logstash/application name.log, and then we will update the loggers with this new appender. Since this logback file is used by all applications, the changes will affect all the services immediately. This is enough for Logstash changes. At this point, I will also add a correlation ID to follow a request across all services. To do that, let's add %x correlation ID to the pattern for file and standard auth appenders. Now to be able to apply this correlation ID to the services, we will create a new module called MDC interceptor and add Spring Context, Spring MVC, Servlet API, and SLF4J API dependencies with compile scope, because those dependencies will be provided at the services itself at runtime. MDC stands for Mapped Diagnostic Context and is used to enrich the log messages by adding some information onto it. So we will add this correlation ID using MDC to our system. We will first create a constants class here with correlation ID header and key. Then create a package com microservices demo MDC, and then create subpackages config and interceptor. In config package, we will first create ID generator, which will return a JDK ID generator. In interceptor, we will create a class MDC handler interceptor that implements handler interceptor, and we create a field ID generator here. Then override prehandle method, which will run prior to processing a request. So we will get the header correlation ID and put on SLF4J MDC, and if it is missing in the request header, we will create a new one by using the ID generator. So let's create a new method to generate the ID using the ID generator, which will create a UID as string. And in the after completion method, we will remove the correlation ID header from the MDC using remove method. Now in the config, we will create web MVC config class and mark it as component, and then implement web MVC configurer to override add interceptors method. We will then inject the MDC interceptor we just created and add it to the registry using the parameter in the add interceptors method. Now any service that includes this module will automatically check each request if MDC header is there, and if it is not, creates a new ID to be used in MDC. And since we already added correlation ID definition to logback, this header will be automatically included in each log message. So let's add this MDC handler dependency to the main POM.xml file with the version first, and then add this dependency to query service, analytics service, Kafka stream service, and finally to the web client. The only thing left is that we need to pass this header across REST calls. And to do that, we will update the query service and web client and set the header to the web client before making a REST call. Let's do that. Here in the Twitter Elastic Query Web Client class, we will set the correlation ID header to web client builder by reading it from MDC. And we will do the same in query service and set the correlation ID header next to the access token in the headers method. Now when a user sends a request in web client, the same correlation ID will be used in web client, query service, and analytics or Kafka stream service, because we passed the same header across the services. We will also remove the ID generator config from common config module, as we have defined one in the MDC handler module instead. Then we will rebuild the project. Great, let's stop here and then add the compose file changes in the next section to run and test this new correlation ID, as well as to check the logs using ELK stack on Kibana. Alright, I will see you in the next section.